back to the KIX 96.5 morning show. 3 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Good morning. Jeff hanging out with you in the studio. We love showcasing indie artists on the show. And today we have one from Wyoming right in the studio. It's Patrick W Stafford. He grew up in Buffalo. He currently lives in Casper. He's still working there as a firefighter for the city of Casper. And he also loves doing country music on the side. His brand new single called Johnson County is just about out. It comes out next Friday. It's all about his love for his home county right here in Johnson County. Pat, he's here. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. How's it going, man?
Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You woke up early.
Yeah, we got up a little bit early this morning, but nothing that we don't usually do.
Well, let's give you a little bit of rundown. I've interviewed Pat numerous times before, but a lot of people don't know your history here, Pat. So let's talk about this. 2015, you had a goal to start the year.
That's correct.
You were going to do 12 songs in 12 months.
Yep.
But it kind of took a curveball. Instead of recording the 12 songs that you already thought you were going to do, you started writing new music.
Yeah, I've been kind of writing music since had just got out of high school. That was forever ago. But then we just decided, I had all this music and had a couple of friends that I worked with at the fire department that are no longer around. I just was like, man, I got to do something with all this stuff before, all these songs that I'd written. And so I was like, oh, let's do a New Year's resolution. And that's what it all started off as, a New Year's resolution. And then so my friend Justin Smith, or we call him Smitty, he's like, well, come over here and we'll record one and you can put it up on YouTube. So that's the first thing we did. We did Red Little Truck, which I had no idea. It's like, that's, one of the more popular songs I ever did. I got lots of hits on it just because it was new probably, but it's just one of those I just never thought a lot of. I stuck it out there. And so what happens is, I said I'm going to do a song, one every month. And as I'm going, I'm going to use all these songs that I had. And I kind of like, oh, maybe I'll write another one. And then I wrote another, and then another, and then another. And then it's like, next thing I know, it's like, it's not even the same 12 songs I was going to do to begin with.
Yeah.
It's all new music. And so then it just kind of snowballed. And the next thing you know, I'm building an album. And so it's just been just one thing after another.
Yeah, the album Full Tilt came out in 2017. But in 2016, you wrote a song about Wyoming.
Yes.
The Wyoming Way, which we're going to play it here in a minute because I love this song. This song needs to be recognized more in the state of Wyoming.
Yeah, it's a fun song. It's basically just a cruise down I-25.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's places like, Rock Springs and Gillette and stuff like, and in Jackson or whatever. But I do talk about Yellowstone and, but it's my point of view coming through the state of Wyoming all the way up through Sheridan and
pretty much the I-25.
Yeah, it's just an I-25 spin is what it is.
Well, and speaking of Wyoming, we just played Love Like Sweet Honey, which, congratulations, you got on like a Wyoming playlist.
Yeah, it's the Wyoming Arts Council's playlist, which, getting on playlists, it's cool, but it's not just one of those things. There was a bunch of bands. I think there was 125 bands that put in for it.
Holy cow. From Wyoming?
Yeah. And it's like that's one of the stipulations. You have to be, living in Wyoming.
Artist.
And so I've put in for the last couple of years and I never got any love. But then this year I received a notification that my song Love Like Sweet Honey, which is, a song I made for my wife.
Yeah.
That it made it on there. So it's kind of, and it's kind of, for some reason, that's one of those songs that people have liked, that it's done quite well. So.
Yeah. You've said you've did different songs because you have more like roadworthy songs.
Yeah.
Love Like Sweet Honey. When you said that, I was like, well, that's.
Yeah. I think it's the safest one because I turned in Ride of Vengeance too, but that might be a little dark for them. And, the people that are coming through Wyoming, they just want to hear, beautiful Wyoming. So
yeah. Well, and when you did the Wyoming Way, you reached out to some people to try and help you with your music. You found these guys, the tune designers. Where are these guys? Are they in Georgia?
Yeah, they're in Retna, Georgia. But it was like when I did the Wyoming Way, we actually recorded that at the sound studio in Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah.
And it was a one-off. It's like just a one take you go through, you don't stop. So it's a little, it's rough. It's a one through. That's the way it was meant to be, because it's a campfire song. It's a beer drinking song.
Yeah.
You're sitting around and that's how I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be like crazy, done up, and it turned out great. But then as I was going, I ran into these guys, and it's hard to trust anybody with your music.
Yeah.
When you put a new song out into the world, it's like, this big secret, and you don't want to, you want to make sure that you have a copyright on it, and you have to go through all this stuff. So, trusting a new, bunch of guys to take your music and do and work with you is kind of a tough thing.
Yeah, that you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, you've never met. And he's like the nicest guy. It's like this, John from Tune Designer. He's the nicest guy, and he's just like, he'll do anything for you. He's just super kind, and I was just like, this guy's too good to be true.
Yeah. He is. If you go on Facebook, look up Tune Designers, and it's just a kick watching them.
Oh, they're mass. They have so much fun. And so, and it allows me to, I can record anywhere in the world. I can send a song off. I can, and it's like having a studio right at my front door.
Yeah, well, because how long does it take? Like Johnson County, how long did it take you from beginning to final product? It took a little longer.
Johnson County is kind of a special one, because it did take a little bit longer for Johnson County, because the person that usually mixes, actually, his wife was having a baby. Oh. And so they sent back a mix, and I was like, it's not exactly what I want. So, and that's the way it is. We go back and forth. It can go back 8 or 9 times. Usually they're, these guys are the best. These guys are professional musicians. So, easy to work with.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it's like it came back, and I was like, I'm not ready. And he's like, well, Rhett's not going to be in the studio to do all the mixing for a while. And I said, that's all right. This is one of those songs that's worth waiting for. I want to make sure it's right.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's right before I put it out there in the world, because it's about my hometown. So, we don't want to mess that one up. Yeah. Well, go and check him out. Patrick W. Stafford. He's at patrickwstafford.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Johnson County comes out next Friday. You're going to hear it here coming up at the end of the interview. But let's listen to The Wyoming Way. It's Patrick W. Stafford. It's KIX 96.5. 17 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. Good morning. Jeff hanging out in the studio with the one and only Patrick W. Stafford. Thanks for coming in, Pat.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Also, Colin, his son's here. We should play trivia with Colin, but put him on the spot.
Pretty good. He's pretty good at trivia. We should probably do that.
We should probably do that. You just heard The Wyoming Way from Patrick W. Stafford. Go check him out, patrickwstafford.com. His latest single, called Johnson County, comes out next Friday. You're going to hear it first here this morning. Well, Pat, we've been reminiscing about your career. October of 2018, a huge highlight. You opened for Nitty Gritty Dirt Band at the then Casper Events Center.
Yep.
How cool was that?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and they asked if we would come in. Of course, you want to take your whole band, but the way it works is they've got their stuff set up.
Yeah.
So you sneak in and you do an acoustic set. So I grabbed my lead guitarist, Michael Trott, and we ended up playing, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I know the distributor in Casper, and so when we showed up in our dressing room, it was like we were rock stars, because DePorter showed his wife. They brought in like packs of Coors for us, and like we had Coors hats, and it was like we felt like rock stars because we had a little beer package that waiting for us from Coors.
Yeah,
it was cool.
In your rider, you need a 6-pack of Coors every time you go anywhere.
Yeah. You got to have like I said, a beer in every pocket.
Well, speaking of Coors, this is a perfect segue. You have a song called the Coors Song.
Yeah, and
if you go to YouTube and search for it, the first time you did the song, you went down to Golden and recorded it in front of the Coors plant.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool time. Same guy, the distributor in Casper. He hooked us up with VIP tickets to go through the Coors factory.
Nice.
So while we were there, it's like I hadn't really even written a Coors song. It wasn't even a thing at the time. And so I was doing swimming lessons with my kids, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, man, we're going to Golden. I've always wanted to see the Coors Factory. I said, I should write a song. So, like, literally, it's one of those songs that, like, sometimes they happen like that. They just
just flow out.
They just come out. And so I wrote a song, and it was funny because, we sat on the tailgate of the truck, and I played it out in front of the Coors Factory. And the first 3 times I started, I was like, I messed up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, it's a new song. And then they were laughing. We had a good time. I just went with a couple fireman buddies down there.
Well, Pat's got his guitar here, so we'll put him on the spot. Give us a little Coors song here, Pat, if you would.
Okay. Let's see. From the streams of Colorado, from the mountains way up high, comes in a golden can. It's a Rocky Mountain High. I think about the first time that it first touched my lips. Swipe from off a coffee table in a little town called Lynch. A banquet beer, Yellow Belly too. The band used to drink it. Does too. Anyways, it's a little bit, but it's one of those songs, and when we were doing it, I was like, well, it's golden in Colorado. Well, thank you for being there for me. Coors, thanks for all the good times. I horn up for any friend I see. Oh, I horn up for any friend I see.
I love that part.
I was going to say, I was going to quit, and I thought I better sing the
you got to sing, exactly. You got to sing the whole of them. Thank God you didn't write a song about Bud Light.
Yeah, I'd be in trouble right now.
That would be going over well. But yes, the Coors song, Patrick W. Stafford. Go check him out, patrickWstafford.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Johnson County, his brand new single comes out next Friday. You're going to hear it first here. Well, you had some bad news. Like 3 years ago, you almost died, Pat.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those. And that was like, so when I went to open up for Nitty Gritty, which was cool,
Yeah.
But I had torn my distal bicep, and it was almost completely all the way through. So I was having a hard time, like, gripping with my left hand, and it was just about gone. And so they're like, hey, we need to schedule this, because this is already done. They've already said, hey, you're going to play. And I'm like, I can't do the surgery yet. I gotta wait. I gotta push it back just a week. And I told my doc, and he's like, all right, we can do 1 week. And so right after I get done opening up for Nitty at the Casper Event Center, I end up going in for surgery. And it was one of those crazy things that while I was on the operating table, I stopped breathing. So I don't know if my blood gases were off which this fireman talk was down to 69, which I don't know if I wasn't getting enough oxygen, or if they gave me too much fentanyl, which could have been the case, or too fast. It's like they didn't do it, and titrate to effect, which is slowly. But anyways, whatever happened, I stopped breathing. Super simple, supposedly surgery, which surgery's never.
Yeah, surgery's never simple.
So I quit. It's like, and all the guys, there was a bunch of guys I didn't even tell on the fire department. They had no idea, so they get a call that somebody has quit breathing, and so all these firemen show up, and it's me on the table. And so I wake up in intensive care at Wyoming Medical Center, and they didn't finish the surgery, so I had to go back a couple weeks after this all happened.
Oh, geez, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like I got done. It's like, and it was crazy, going through the whole thing. So you
wake up and your arm's still screwed up.
Yeah, they did a quick patch. They just kind of sewed it up and threw me back together and said, it's like, hey, it's not finished. So
see you again next week.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so then that was kind of off. It wasn't at Wyoming Medical Center. So then the next surgery they did at Wyoming Medical Center, and I remember rolling in for that one. After this whole thing, I died for whatever, how many minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I, of course, I don't know because I wasn't awake.
Yeah, who knows?
But when I was rolling in, one of the nurses was like sitting there holding, an AED, and he's like, and the doctor's like doing the, hey, don't let him see that. It's like they were afraid that I was gonna slip out again or something. But yeah, it's
that was scary.
It wasn't too bad. Like I said, I was asleep. So
yeah, you didn't know what was going on.
The first thing I woke up and my brother was standing next to me and he hadn't been there, and my dad and hi mom and dad are sitting at the end of the bed, and my brother, I look up at him and I look out the window and I know I'm at Wyoming Medical Center, and I'm like, oh man, I probably said something worse than that. And my brother's like, hey, there were some complications in my brother's style, and I said, what do you mean complications? He goes, you died. And I go, shut up. And he goes, no, you died. He goes, did you see God? And I go, yes, I did. And he goes, you did? And I go, no, I didn't. It's like just right away, start messing with each other like we've always done.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a spooky thing, especially for my wife. So and then they of course, all the firemen, the chiefs go and pick up my kids at school, and take them to the hospital. I was like, hey, your dad died.
But he's back.
He's back.
Wow.
By popular demand.
Well, speaking of being a firefighter, how long have you been with the Casper Fire Department?
22 years.
22 years.
22 years plus now, so
when you can retire like now?
I can.
You're getting close.
On the 27th, I can.
The 27th. Who's counting the days? 4 days you can retire, but you're not. Don't scare them.
No, I'll probably stick around for a couple more years.
Because Colin, are you going to be a junior, Colin? Yes, sir. Yeah, so he's got 2 years left.
Yeah, so I'll probably stick around till he's done, or
before you move to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, that's probably, I don't know, in the next couple of years I'll probably be headed that way.
After Johnson County becomes the number one song.
If you want to feel small, any songwriter should go to Nashville.
Yeah.
Or Austin.
So. Yeah. There's a performer on every corner.
There is. It's incredible.
Man. Well, we're going to play another song for Pat, and then we're going to come back. He was just at Chris Ledoux Days.
Yes.
This past weekend.
Yeah.
With Colin.
I got a good story about that.
But go check him out, PatrickWStafford.com. He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Johnson County comes out next Friday. You're going to hear it here first this morning. But before we play this song, I love this song. It's called Beer in the Fridge.
Yes. I love it too.
I mean, you're going to be singing this song all day long after you hear it. Give us a little bit of backstory, because this is a country song, but you're poking fun at country songs.
Well, it's one of those things, like that, everybody always says if you play it backwards, you'll get the perfect country song, and songs about trains and mama and, your vehicle's breaking down, and, and it was one of those mornings. I literally was, I think you were with me. Colin's with me, and it's like, the windshield wipers on my rig stopped working, and I was joking about a windshield wiper won't work today,
Yeah.
A low fuel sign. God, I haven't even been paid. And it's like, I laughed. That's a country song, and we both start laughing. And then little did I know, the rest of the day I spent writing this Beer in the Fridge. So that's kind of how it all
it's about beer, dogs,
mama, trains,
everything. Perfect country song. Here it is, Beer in the Fridge. It's Patrick W. Stafford. Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 morning show. 32 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock. We're hanging out with the one and only Patrick W. Stafford here in the studio, and we've got a mystery caller here on the line. Are you there, caller?
Hello.
Hello. Actually, Pat probably...
Hi.
Can't hear you. You better put your headphones on. Hold on. Let me put his headphones on so he can hear you. There we go. Okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is this you, PWS?
This is Patrick Stafford.
Who else calls you that, PWS?
Oh, is this Ant?
It is.
It's Ant listening in Deposit, New York.
DJ Ant.
Yes, it's me.
Oh, hey.
I couldn't pass up the opportunity to not call and say hello.
Oh, thanks for saying hi. Good
you
morning.
are my favorite indie country artist.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
That's awful kind of you.
That is nice of Aunt. You love beer in the fridge. I know that.
I love beer in the fridge.
We all love beer in the fridge. There's nothing better than a little beer in the fridge. Maybe beer in your belly.
A little bit.
Yeah. I told him when he came in, I said, Aunt told me to give you a hug.
Oh,
Yes,
so-
I did.
Yeah, we did that.
Okay, good.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, because he messaged me and said, Pat's here, and I said, ooh, you better give him a great big hug for me.
There you go. She owes you a hug,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the hug.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
I'll give
very
one
welcome.
back to
Thanks
him
for
later.
the great song.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, right on. Well, thanks, Aunt, for calling in.
Oh, you're welcome, and it's so good to hear your voice, literally hear your voice, like live.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad to be here
Yeah.
today. So it's awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day and weekend, and I hope you had a great Father's Day last week.
Oh, I did. It was
Good,
fantastic. Time with my kids.
All right. Good. Well, enjoy the rest of your interview here with Jeff, because he's a great interviewer, as you know.
He does pretty good.
We do all
Yeah,
right.
he's all right.
We try.
He's making it.
Right on. Well, thanks,
right,
Aunt.
guys.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye, guys.
Now,
Bye.
you can check out DJ Ant Saturday nights, cbjradio.com, 4 o'clock Mountain Time. Well, back to Pat. We just played Beer in the Fridge. Last weekend, you were at Chris Ledoux Days. You and Colin were hanging out. You have your Reckless Kelly t-shirt on.
I do. Yeah,
There's
I'm
a
representing-
picture, if you go to Pat's Facebook page, you and Colin standing outside. Is it the tour bus
Yeah, it's
with the
their
Reckless
tour-
Kelly
yes.
vinyl?
Yeah.
What
that was-
happened? Give us the story.
Well, we sat there and we listened to Ned play, which those guys they're great. Everybody in the band in Ned's band signed Colin's hat. He got their autographs and stuff, and then we were sitting next to the stage, and this guy's sitting there talking to me, and he sees that I had bought some vinyl, because I love listening to music on vinyl, because I just love that, and I'm old, I guess. I don't know, vinyl's cool, and so this guy's talking to me, and he's like, "You like that album?" And I go, "Yeah, there's some really great songs on here." I said, and he said, "You like Reckless Kelly?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, there's like one of my go-to groups. I'll listen to them all day when I'm working in the garage or doing stuff." And so he keeps talking to me, and I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, the seven Nights in Ireland is one of my most favorite Reckless Kelly songs. It's a great song." And he's like, "Yeah." And so I started asking him questions, because I'm figuring he's one of the road guys for the band. And so he's like, "Yeah," he says, "Yeah, I think they're going to play that tonight." And he looks down at his phone and he goes, "Yeah, it's on the list." And I go, "Oh, that's cool, man. I'll be looking forward to hearing it." Well, fast forward, we watch him. He goes through the barrier and he starts setting up. And he sets up this stand-up bass. And I'm like, and Colin goes, "Dad, I think he's in the band." And so he's
the bass player.
He's the bass player for Reckless Kelly.
wow.
I'm sitting there talking to the bass player, and I think they've had a couple. I'm familiar with the others, but I had never really seen him before.
Yeah.
But he's amazing, and he's super kind, super good guy. And so he plays it right before they play Seven Nights in Ireland. He turns back and looks at me and points at me, and I'm like, yeah, it was cool. He knew it was like one of those songs that I loved, and he was such a great guy. And then afterwards, he came back out and got him to sign the vinyl, and a couple of members in the band they signed the vinyl for me. And
they actually headlined. They played after Ned?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Ned. They've been trying to get him for a long time. They're
big.
They're kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was cool. Like, as far as Johnson County, Casey style, it was like they had there was a burn barrel on the other side of the stage. There's smoke. It was like, I've never been, like, all these years I've always been working, and I've never had a chance to go to Chris Ledoux Days, and it was awesome. And they did a huge auction, and they raised money, and it was a really good. I'm glad we went, and the rodeo was great. I know they got a new record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the arena record for Chris Ledoux Days.
Huh.
So
I saw the picture on the street, and the street looked like it was packed.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, there was a lot of people. That's most people I've ever seen in KC.
Yeah, Chris Ledoux Days last weekend. Reckless Kelly. What was the vinyl? What is that? What's that album?
The album they have, it's got I can't remember I was looking for the one that was that had the 7 Nights in Ireland. But it's got some of their other.
But they were selling a bunch of vinyls at the concert. That's cool.
They just had two, yeah, and then they had like a greatest hits one too. That it was like a 2 vinyl set. So I just kind of went for this one.
Well, Pat, he's also a jack of all trades. You fix pinball machines. That's why your album's called Full Tilt.
Yeah, I do that.
You fix jukeboxes. You fix all. I mean, how's the camper project going? Is that started?
Yeah, no, I've ripped it. I've got an old Argosy, which is the sister company to Airstream. It's the painted Airstream, so it looks exactly like an Airstream, but it's painted.
This is not gray.
Yeah, it's tan.
Oh.
So it needs a big Full Tilt sticker on the front of it, probably someday.
Yeah.
But it's coming along. We've, kind of ripped some stuff out of it, and then we're leaving some of the galley kitchen in there, and then putting some seats in, and it's just another project. It's one more thing. My wife's going to kill me one of these days.
Yeah, because is your garage still jam-packed?
It is now. Yeah, we got, we were doing it, and then we had not that it matters, it's like we just bought a new dryer the other day, and the dryer, like after 4 months, brand new dryer breaks.
Oh yeah.
So I got an extra plug in the garage, and we have an extra dryer that I put in there, and it's like it's just one project after another,
It never ends.
And music.
Yeah, and you also collect skateboard decks. This has been something you've been going crazy about the last year. Yeah, no, I've been doing it for a long time. I've got lots of. I really appreciate the artwork from that time. The Palin Peralta Santa Cruz. Yeah, he's going the late '80s, early '90s decks.
Yeah, and so I whenever I see one, and I try not to go too crazy about it. I have a few times. And, whenever you can get the whole Palin Peralta team, so the Bones Brigade. But anyways, that's just another thing. I love art. That's kind of what I went to school for to begin with.
Yeah.
And I ended up going down the firefighter path, which is total opposite.
Yeah.
So, but I still get to do music.
You still get to do music.
That's my art I do now. So
exactly. Well, and the cool thing about with your side projects is you have funded your music because of your side projects. Right. So you try not to spend the family's money.
That's the plan, is to not spend the family money. And so any extra money, if I'm doing pinball machines, or I used to have a yard company years ago. And so since 1993, I still have 1 yard left that I mow every week. So I don't, it's like I keep busy, between that and then a couple weeks ago, I worked 141 hours in 2 weeks. So it's at the fire station.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
141 hours.
Yeah, a little overtime.
Just a little. Or someone else is calling in. Good morning. Thanks for calling KIX 96.5.
Pat, congratulations on all your music success.
Here, hold on. Let him put his headphones on. Go ahead again. This sounds like my mom.
It is.
He's got his headphones on. Tell him now he didn't have his headphones on. Now he can hear you.
This Sheila?
Pat,
this is Sheila.
Sheila. Hey, Sheila, how you doing?
Congratulations. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing great. It's good to hear from you.
Well, you sound wonderful, and I wanted to tell you congratulations on all your success. You're doing a marvelous job, and I wanted to tell you there's a lot of rain out here, so there's a lot of toads to be found.
Oh. That's a funny story, the toad story.
It is, and only you and I know about it.
Yeah, should we tell him about it? I don't know if he knows about it.
The toad story.
Yeah.
No.
So when you guys were you want me to tell the story?
You can tell it.
So when we were younger, you guys, I was mowing your yard for some reason. I can't remember, because we had a yard service way back then.
Yeah.
I think you were on vacation. Is that correct?
We must have been gone.
Yeah,
yeah, we were gone.
Yeah, and so I find this giant toad, and I'm like, I'm going to stick this in Jeff's bed. I didn't know you weren't home. And so I grab this toad, and I stick it in your bed because I think it's going to be funny. But then it's like, I think you ended up finding that giant toad later. Like, I think he kind of got loose. But that was, I can't believe you remember that. That's the toad story.
Wow, were we on Western back then? on Western Avenue?
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
forget the toad.
Yeah, it was
I found the toad.
it was a huge toad that I stuck in your bed because I thought you were there.
And then lived in our house for a couple days.
Yeah, I probably
Till
was
we got
there
back.
for a couple days, just walking around, jumping around, doing his thing.
Wow.
It seemed funny at the time.
Yeah, it was. It still is. Well, there you go. Well,
You
thanks,
need
Mom.
to write a song, Pat.
The Toad
about
song.
The toad.
There you
The
go.
toad song.
There you go. That's his next release after Johnson County.
Yeah, the toad song.
The Toad song.
Doom, 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 doom.
Well, sweet. Well, right on. Well, thanks, Mom, for
There
calling
you
in.
go.
Okay.
All
Yes,
right.
I wanted to say hi. All right.
All right.
All right.
Have a good day.
Have a
Thanks
great
for
one.
calling.
There you go. All your fans are calling in here. When's Carol calling?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to.
Well,
She knows better.
She knows better. We're running out of time, so Ride of Vengeance. We've been spinning it right here on KIX 96.5. Your current single. It's an outlaw country song. It's a little bit of a twist on what you normally do, Pat. Did you want to do an outlaw country song? What was the inspiration?
Are you talking about for Ride of Vengeance?
Ride of Vengeance,
Yeah. You know, it's like, man, the whole story behind that is I used to listen to gunfighter ballads.
Yeah.
Marty Robbins songs with my grandfather, my grandpa Robbins years ago, and like and that's where I got my love for vinyl, I would guess, because he used to sit there and he'd spin it. He was so careful and meticulous with his vinyl. He'd wipe it down. He always had a hanky.
Oh, wow.
He'd wipe it down and he'd put it on, and we'd listen to the Cool Water or Marty Robbins songs.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to do a song that was kind of a gunfighter ballad. And so, when that first opening, I started doing that, and I'm like, this is kind of a dark entry to a song, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that, because I'd never done a song that was a little dark like that, and I didn't know how people would take it either.
Yeah.
It's like it's a sensitive world sometimes, and you got to be careful. And so I threw it out there, and I'm super pleased with the way it came out. It's exactly what I wanted with the bass, and when I was trying to figure out the bass, I was talking with my other son, Connor, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get this bass figured out, how I want it to sound. And it was Johnny Cash's Riders in the Sky. It's that same sound.
Okay, yeah.
And they do it with guitar, but it's like now because I knew it could go with, doing a guitar or bass.
Yeah.
And my new bass player, Tyler Paddock, that helps me out from time to time, he plays it, and it's
He's
wicked.
got it down, yeah.
It's wicked, yeah.
Well, give us a little Ride of Vengeance on your guitar here.
Okay.
Ooh-ah!
Ooh-ha. You're a tale of vengeance of an ordinary man who's built his farm and home with his heart and his bare hand. He'd left the world behind of wrong and evil days, met the woman of his dreams, seen the light and changed his ways. That day before he could grab his gun, and they left him for dead and killed his wife and his son. He woke up to fire and the day had turned to night. Horse, and he saddled up his ride. And they'll sitting around the campfire, talking about the things they'd done, about the lives they had taken, about the killing just for fun. He rode in like fire, like a demon in the night, and he pulled that hammer back, and he let the lead fly. Ooh, riding with the wind, a peacemaker in his hand. Vengeance will be his, and they'll never beat again. Now all is quiet, taste of gun smoke in the air. Not a bad man breathing, hell moving anywhere. He looks down at the pistol as the blood drips from his hands. It's time to meet the maker. Hell, it's time to pay the man. Ooh, riding with the wind, a peacemaker in his hand. Ooh, justice is now his, they'll never beat again.
Awesome. Look at that. Right of Vengeance, Patrick W. Stafford. We're way over now, Pat.
Sorry.
That's all right. That was awesome. He got in the groove. Johnson County, tell us about the song real fast before we play it.
Okay, Johnson County, it's just, it started off as I was thinking about when I was moving away. We had this huge party up on the mountain. And it was so much fun. We had a great time, and then it got busted. And so the whole day leading into it of total bliss, just me and all my buddies like Ryan Lawrence and Eric Gish. And then we were just headed up. We went up through Crazy Woman Canyon. And then all the parties, it's like we always going up and just being able to learn to drive in Johnson County and the freedom and with the mountains so close, we were always going up and standing around the big fire and just breathing in the smoke and sneaking some beers if we could.
Yeah.
But that's what it's all about, is just about the freedom of growing up in such a special place.
Yeah. Johnson County. Well, here it is. It comes out next Friday, June 30th. Go and check him out. PatrickWStafford.com. Can you pre-order the single?
I don't have a pre-order, but it's like on the 30th. It'll hit. I think it's like 10 o'clock in the morning or something like that. It hits.
So go and check it out. Johnson County. We're the only ones that are spinning it. We're the only ones that have it. Thank you, Pat, so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
That was awesome. Big thanks to Pat for coming in. Here it is. Johnson County comes out next Friday. Brand new music from Patrick W. Stafford. It's KIX 96.5. Cowboy Swaps coming up next.